Yeah, man, it was crazy. I had a list of 1,788 people at the time. I'll never forget this, man. I'll never, ever, ever. I remember the exact moment. I remember everything. 1,788 people that I launched to. And remember, there was like, I was doing everything on someone else's computer. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was flying by the seat of my pants. I thought I was going to fail miserably.
Yeah.
But I was wrong. It actually worked.
Nice.
The list of 1788. We did 38,000 and change the first day.
Welcome to Seven Figure Entrepreneur Podcast, the #1 podcast bringing you behind the scenes with real online earners. No fake gurus here. And today we have the wonderful Tyler Devon and also Dave Miz. Glad to have you here, man.
What's up? What's up? Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
We were literally just having a conversation before we started, and we were wondering I was curious if Gabe was going to try for Miz's real last name. This is like the shortened version, but I see you got nervous.
I get nervous. He just says that he goes by it, and everyone knows about it. So
I'll tell you guys a funny story. When I was in my early 20s, like 23, 24, I used to work in like the Wolf of Wall Street stuff, like Boiler Room.
Did you?
You've seen those movies? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is like the late 90s, and I had this boss, and I reconnected with him on Facebook. So it's super funny. Like everything is full circle now. But I had this one boss. He was from Tennessee with this big Southern accent, tall guy, very like bodacious guy, and he used to do all the infomercials for the company, and just raging alcoholic.
Yeah.
Raging alcoholic. The
Makes
dude
sense.
was like just fucking lit all day, every day on Jack, right? And I would go into his office. He'd call me in, and I was like the youngest guy in the firm. There was like 60 brokers. I was like a kid, and he'd call on the intercom, Maserati, get into my office. You can never pronounce my name. Maserati, we're going to the strip club. Let's go.
That's like amazing.
Maserati.
How do you? Yeah, that's crazy. How do you guys feel about the stock market today? That's some interesting shit going down.
I honestly don't know really what the fuck is going on, because I try not to stay on the news right now. But from what I understand, from what I understand, these guys on Reddit like totally fucked the system or something.
Yeah.
They figured some shit out.
Yeah, they were just like huge short. Like a lot of the hedge funds had huge shorts on GameStop or whatever, and then they just like reversed that and shot up the stock price to like 12. I think it was like $12 to $400 or something like that. But then like the weird part is like they just like the stock market, they just like shut it off. And I don't know because shit about this, so I'm probably saying it wrong. But
what happened? They shut it off.
They know the rules, man.
Yeah.
They got to protect the you got to protect the house, so to speak, right? Like if they're gaming the system. But then flip side, I heard like Nancy Pelosi got Tesla stocks recently, and then Biden announced they're going to start buying all electric vehicles for all the US vehicles. So like, yeah, you're going to go after the guys on fucking Reddit for gaming the system together, but you're going to like let shit like that go. It's just, whatever.
Yeah.
I also
try not to. See, this is why I don't watch the fucking news, man.
Yeah.
Like, I try to stay away from that shit because I know how I am. Like, I don't know about I'm a fucking scatterbrain, and if I don't like focus, like I'm all over the place.
Yeah, no doubt. That's funny.
I just learned all this from memes, so like I don't really know.
Where Gabe gets his news from me.
Yeah, that's where I get the news.
You know what though, dude? It's accurate.
Dude, it is. It's so funny.
Anyways.
Yeah. All right.
Let's
talk about you, Dave. Let's talk about you, man. What do you do? What do you do?
Email.
Yeah.
Something. It's so boring, right? Like just good old email.
I love email.
Boring makes money though, man.
Yeah, boring does make money. And emails can be quite exciting when you press a button and it makes thousands of dollars.
Super exciting. Yeah. I remember it was probably like 2010. I had I used to be in the dating space, men's dating. And I had a buddy of mine in New York that was killing it. He was doing like 7 figures a month or something from what I was hearing.
Just from emailing his list?
He was doing like paid ads on porn traffic and stuff like that. He was doing like a dating VSL, very aggressive. But I remember.
Wait. What was his name? What was his like pen name?
DiCarlo, Vin DiCarlo.
Yeah, Vin DiCarlo.
So I remember being at his apartment one day, and we like literally like sent out an email, and like I just remember like going on his laptop, checking the sales coming in. And I've never seen this before in my life. The computer was going so fast with the number of emails coming in of sales. You know, like when the screen just like blinks, there's just like a line on the screen, and it was just doing this for like minute after minute after minute. And it was just like, after I was scrolling, it was like fucking orders, hundreds and hundreds every second. Wow. Crazy, man, just from sending like an email. And I was like, damn, man, this is like the next level of the next level. Like, right?
Totally.
Holy shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah, email, I feel like in a lot of respects, it's the unsung hero. Like there's a lot of companies that would not be profitable or not be able to stay in the game if it wasn't for email, which is pretty much their back end.
Yeah, but then, you know, everybody in the marketplace is all about Facebook Messenger, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And
until the next hot thing comes around.
Right.
But
so they change the rules and, you know, all that stuff. So
so essentially, if you could explain what you do, because I think you pretty much manage email for e-com clients, right? That's your sweet spot.
Yeah. So I run an agency. It's like a boutique agency, I guess you can call it. And we do we manage email and SMS, and we are essentially driving 20 to 30 to 40% of overall revenue for DTC e-commerce brands, so direct to consumer e-commerce brands, and we're doing it through email, messenger, SMS.
And I want you guys to hear what he said. He said 20 to what, 40%?
20 to 30 to 40%
of overall revenue.
Correct.
So you got to think from a profit perspective. There was one company, because obviously I do some email stuff too. Not like you, I kind of do mine differently. But there are some companies, they're just breaking even on the front end. Yeah.
Yep. Spammer.
They just break even on the front end.
I know about you guys.
But all their profit, like you may be 20, 34% of their or revenue. What do you think you are of their profit margin?
I don't even know, actually. That would be a good number to calculate.
You could be potentially 100% of their profit.
It could be huge, because remember, a lot of them are doing very, very aggressive acquisition. I know there's one client I'm thinking of that's super aggressive on their acquisition. And we know that just by the rate that the email is trailing behind, it's almost like they're too aggressive, I think, on the ads. They're spending too much on the ads, and they're not seeing that ripple effect translate down. But some clients do, and they just have it just means like they have their ads more dialed in on the acquisition side. But yeah, it's got to be much higher profits.
Huge profit margins. So like one thing that we found, because Gabe and I did some e-commerce for a little while, you might even just break even on the front end consumer. Or there's a lot of, especially any type of market where there is a consumable, where someone buys it over and over again. A lot of the time the brand will break even because they know they'll make so much business once the customer tests the product, likes the product. Like I'm sure you've seen that as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at my some slides here, and I've got like, there's one client that we worked with, a CBD store, and I think they were in a similar model, and their dollar per recipient on their emails was so high, it was like $1.76 for everybody that received an email was worth $1.76. And the reason why is because we had a lot of reorder flows. So when someone bought like the CBD pain cream, and then in like 3 weeks, when they're getting close to finishing it, we start mailing them, hey, you're getting close to finishing, time to reorder. Or if you bought a 60-day supply of supplements, and then on day 50, we start mailing you, hey, you're running low, get this. It's top of mind.
And what's great about that too, in a lot of respects, you can automate that.
Yep, 100%. It's totally, we try to have the flows, try to do most of the heavy lifting for that type of stuff. So that way you're not really relying on the campaigns to do that type of specific stuff.
Yeah, because there's no way you could time down a user by user, but with the flows and stuff, you can set all that up.
Yeah, and so we know based on what they buy and quantity size and stuff like that. Yeah,
it makes sense. So what was your first foray into email? Was it seeing, Vin DiCarlo pump that through and basically blow up his computer, or was it something else that kind of started that bug for you?
No, believe it or not, going back 2000, 2001, when I started doing like online marketing, I was in my like early 20s working on the computer a lot. And so I started doing like Match.com and Plenty of Fish, like online dating.
Oh, nice.
And online dating, right? What do you use? Emails. You're messaging them. And so I got really, really good at it, to the point where like every night of the week I had a date, to the point where like every night of the week I was having like 2 dates, 3 dates, even if I wanted.
Nice.
like I would go to the bars. I would go to the same bar. I used to live in South Beach, and I would go to the bar at South Beach, and the bartender like would stop me one night and be like, "Okay, are you dealing drugs in here? Because you're like with a different girl every night. What the fuck, you know?" So I had to tell him, "No, I'm doing like Match.com, dude. I got really good at it." So I got really good at it. Friends started messaging me, asking me, "Hey, you know, can you help me with this?" I started helping them. They started telling their friends. And it just started snowballing. I had a friend that worked for Eben Pagan, doubleyourdating.com.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big, huge brand.
Dating business.
For a minute.
Yeah, they were doing like 20 million a year. He had told him what I was doing because I was telling him what I was doing. And he said, "Hey, Eben wants to interview you for his interview series." And this was like the beginning of 2005.
Damn, old school.
And and I kind of knew at this point I was going to make a product about what I was doing because I was getting hit up so much. Like it got to the point where like, "Hey, I'm Dennis. I'm buddies with Tyler, and he told me you can hook me up with this the Match.com stuff." Like, what? Who the fuck are like? What? I don't even know this dude. Like, he's like friends of a friend. Like, my friends are telling their friends.
Yeah,
telling their friends.
I love it.
And I was like, "Fuck, man! Like, there's got to be something here." So I did this interview, and they tell me when I do the interview that it's going to come out in a few months, and they'll let me know. So I think, okay, I've got some time before I make the site. Well, that was bullshit because like 2 weeks later, I get an email I get an email in my inbox, and it basically says, I heard the interview, I went to the website, and there was nothing there. And I had like 400 of these emails. They all basically said the same thing. So I was like, oh, fuck. Guys, did you happen to put out that interview? Like, what happened to a few months? This was like 2 weeks, you know, like, holy shit. And so it just went out of control at that point. The interview went nuts. And obviously I was on all of his products, and then it just went crazy. I was in Vanity Fair magazine, Playboy, Wall Street Journal, everything. It just,
that's amazing.
Everybody wanted to know what I was doing.
We're literally talking to a dating legend right now.
Yeah. Right. You know, like me, super buff and everything. So, like it was crazy, man. Like it was the craziest time. Like, you know, they told me it was going to come out in a few months. I figured I had time. I remember sitting up all day, like putting a squeeze page together, and it was crazy, man. Like I didn't know what to do, right? So I had this squeeze page. I had this list being built. The traffic was coming in by autopilot because I think the interview went viral in the niche. Like it was so crazy. Like guys were passing it around, ordering it, messaging me, opting in. But I had a problem because I had no product to sell anybody, right? Like I figured I had like a few months to build this fucking thing. And now I have like 2 weeks. I'm like, oh shit, what do I do? So I remember like, okay, I can't like just not email anybody because then they're just going to like die off. Right. Yeah. And so I can't this is like a golden opportunity that I have here. Right. I have like $2,000 to my name at this point. I have to make shit happen. Right. Like it's either get a job. It's either, this is what happens. Right. I would go on Wednesday nights because it was ladies' night also, and it was free drinks for ladies. So I would always have her get the drinks for me. It was, dude, I was cheap, man.
I love it.
I had to figure out these ways back in the day, right?
Hey, do what you gotta do, bro.
Hey, that's survival of the fittest. So what I started thinking is like, okay, I have to stall everybody, okay, until I figure out how to make this product, what the fuck I'm going to do. So I had this like genius idea. I'm like, okay, I'm going to like give tips. I'm going to email tips, but I have nothing to sell anybody. So I'm not going to put a pitch in it or anything. So I start emailing like every few days, and I start hyping them up like, hey, if you are sending an email and that she doesn't respond, this is what you got to do. And I would just keep doing this, but I wouldn't put any pitch in it. And guys would email me back, and they'd be like, where can I buy this product? Where can I buy this? And I'm like, fuck, I have nothing to sell. Like, and the more I kept doing this.
You never did like any one-on-one consulting or anything?
Dude, this was 2005. Nobody wanted to do consulting back then, man. You got on the internet to get away from people. Like, you know, like you didn't want to talk to people back then.
Yeah.
Now it's like full circle. Now there's like high ticket selling and on the phone and coaching, consulting. Back then there was none of that shit. You just put a sales page up and opt in, and you know, and you just drove traffic to it. So I was doing these emails like 2-3 times a week. I wasn't asking for anything. I had nothing to pitch, but I eventually, after like 2 or 3 weeks of this, I was putting in the bottom of the emails, the product is coming. I promise it's coming. It's coming. Meanwhile, I was sitting on my ass trying to figure out what the fuck to do, but it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. And I just did this for like 2-3 weeks, hyping everybody up. And then what happened was it really built up a lot of goodwill with the audience. Unbeknownst to me, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And the
which
cool
makes
thing
sense.
is,
like the more value you give, the more the subscriber wants what ultimately
without
they're going to buy.
asking anything in return. I wasn't putting a link. I had nothing to sell them. I wasn't putting a call to action. It was nothing. It was just, here's the tip. I hope you enjoy it. Boom, done.
And did you email these people back like one by one, or did you at least have an auto or like a ESP?
No. So back then I used one shopping cart, which was like that was like the best thing back then to use. Right. And it was like, I collected the emails to the form, and then I would do a broadcast email to the whole list. And then I had like an autoresponder.
At least you had some sort of tools.
Yeah. It was very basic back then. Remember, like back then, the only thing you could do was like day 1, send this email, day 3, send this email. That was it. It was just like sequential, that very cut and dry. Now you can do all kinds of, crazy shit. But what I really learned and what was happening was, like, when you build this goodwill up with your audience, like, people show up ready to buy. You don't have to convince them. You don't have to twist their arms. You don't have to pressure them. You don't have to do like crazy shit. There's no social proof. You don't need any of that stuff. You don't need like 9 million fucking emails to get somebody to buy. They're just into it, right? You don't need to use fake scarcity. You don't have to use like hard selling or just like any of that kind of garbage, right? Like, none of that stuff's required anymore. And you really attract people to you instead of chase them.
Yeah.
Right. And I was just sending like real simple emails, like, like, here's the top 10 mistakes that guys are making. Here's like the fatal flaw that you're putting in your profile that you don't even know that's making women not message you back. Right. Like, this is the reason why women aren't messaging you back, but it's not in your emails. It's in your profile. And this is what it is. Right. And it was just a video. Like, I would show them in the profile. I would show them a guy's profile and explain to them, the mistake they're making and, so on and so forth. This was I call this the Stalker Profile. And, this was like a technique where like you would set up a fake profile of a woman and like check the emails that guys are sending. And you would take the best emails and then use those to apply. I was just sending cool stuff like that.
Really smart. Yeah.
Like genius. Really slick stuff. And when you do stuff like this, you're just like, you guys see, like, the marketing is so powerful. You don't even have to sell, right? Like the marketing does the selling for you. And so it was working like crazy because like the list was going berserk for this. Like, the more I kept doing this, the more people kept reaching out and the more people kept buying my stuff. Right. And so I was like, okay, I'm onto something here. I need to make this fucking product. How do I had no idea what I was doing. So back then I worked on a Mac. I still do. There was no Camtasia or Screen, Flow or anything for the Mac. Okay. There was Camtasia for the PC. So I was like, fuck, who do I know that has a PC? Right. So I like scoured around. I had a buddy of mine that lived locally. He has a PC. So I go to his house, his apartment, and he's out partying the whole weekend, just wasted, just drinking, partying, girls over, back and forth. And I'm just focused. I have my headphones on. Yeah, dude, I have my headphones on and I'm just like making videos all weekend. I get the thing done. And at this point,
you pounded out a product.
2 days. 2 days. I had 42 videos. Now, 42 videos. Now, I had no idea how to upload them online or any of that stuff. I was too ghetto. So I burned everything I put the videos linked on a CD. Like, I put them on a website and I just put it on a CD. Sent the CD to the fulfillment company and, they duplicated it, right? Because I was selling it like a physical product back then. So I had a list of one CD. No, right? that was what before came, the DVD ROMs came after that. Remember those? Yeah. So yeah, man, it was crazy. I had a list of 1,788 people at the time. I'll never forget this, man. I'll never, ever. I remember the exact moment. I remember everything. 1,788 people that I launched to. And remember, there was like, I was doing everything on someone else's computer. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was flying by the seat of my pants. I thought I was going to fail miserably.
Yeah.
But I was wrong. It actually worked. So I did about 395 copies the first day at $97 a pop.
Nice.
The list of 1788. Like, think about the numbers there.
Wow.
395 sold to
almost. Unreal.
We did 38,000 and change the first day. And this was like just me by myself. It wasn't like no JV partners, no affiliates, no paid traffic.
Quitting my job. I'm quitting everything.
well, I had $2,000 to my name at this point. And I remember very vividly, my dad was alive at this point, and I was living upstairs for my folks. They had like a spare room upstairs.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, you got to get your shit together. But that day when I came downstairs, I was all pumped. I had done like $5 grand at that point. And I remember going downstairs. My dad was home that day, and I'm like, Dad, I just did $5 grand. My dad was just in another fucking planet. He didn't even flinch. So I run back upstairs, come back down a few hours. Dad, I'm at 12,500. Doesn't flinch. This happens like 3 times throughout the day. Finally, like towards the end of the day, Dad, I'm at 22,500. And he turns around. He was laying on the couch with his shirt off, just had shorts on, you know, like when you're at home. And he just looked at me like, My dad's from Israel. He got that Middle Eastern. He's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm like, did you like not pay attention to any of the fucking conversations I was having with you over the last like week while this was going? Like, fuck, man.
No.
You know? So it was pretty cool, man.
So foreign to them too.
Yeah, it was so, my dad was an entrepreneur his whole life. So he totally understood the hustle, but like it was computers. He just didn't, he didn't get it. But so I think the key thing here is that it's not really about having a huge list. It's about the relationship that you have with your list. And it's about building a relationship with them in a real specific way so that they know, like, and trust you, and that they see you as a trusted advisor and buy everything from you. So
that's a great point.
Yeah. So like it was crazy. Like I did everything wrong, man. I fucked up everything on that offer that you could possibly fuck up. Okay. And I still like crushed it. Right. I had no affiliates. Right. I had no SEO. I didn't even know what the fuck that was back then. I had no upsells because back in 2005, there was no such thing as upsells. Yeah. Could you imagine? There was no nobody even heard of that shit. Like once that came out, we were like, oh my God, how much money did we fucking lose?
That's
like,
amazing.
you used to like count that. I remember when upsells came out, you would like count how much money you were like, fuck, I would have made that much more last year.
Yeah.
So
how much did you do on that offer overall?
I ended up doing about 3.1 million over 13 years. Wow. I just had it running on autopilot, for 13 years. And then, the niche died off. I had no back end. I wrote a horrible sales letter that I wrote myself because I had $2 grand at the time, but it worked, So that was the beginning. That's
wild, man.
Real beginning of how I started. Like, and it's crazy because like I see people working with clients and, and stuff like that. And I'm like, damn, they just bought a course like 5 months ago from what they're telling me. And now they're working with clients. Like for me, like I really honed my chops over years. Yeah. It's not something that I just figured out.
Yeah.
That's a dope story.
Dude,
it gets crazy.
Super curious.
We're just like starting it gets crazier, man.
I love it.
What was like, I'm curious, what was your best tip, your best like email writing tip that you would give guys that they would go nuts for?
For, you mean the online dating stuff?
Yeah.
It was really like, I was really good with these copy and paste templates. And so
you give them like a bunch of templates to.
Oh yeah. Tons of templates. And then I just had it like systemized, like first email, send this, second email, send this.
Yeah.
Third email. It was like 4 emails. And then you got the phone number like 90% of the time. And,
dude, that's so dope.
And then like when you got the phone, this is how you send the text message. This is the text message to send. This is what to do on the phone. This is how to set up the date. This is how to do the date. Like, I mean, I was going out so much. I had it all because online dating is very process. You're following the same process over and over again. So I learned that it was very systematic. And so me being, the nerd that I am, I systemized it. So
amazing.
Nerds run the world, man. Nerds run the world.
Yeah, man.
I love it.
That brand is no longer around?
No, it's still there. I'm just not really doing much with it. It really died off, I think, in the last few years. I think once social media took off, that whole industry really, really died off. It's just not really social media oriented.
Yeah.
And then when did you start doing email for e-com stores?
Oh, I started doing that about 3 years ago, a little bit over 3 years ago. So real interesting story on that one. So my wife is from Uruguay. We're a very small country in South America. And I met a guy locally in one of the Facebook marketing groups, and he's from Uruguay. So I figured, let me hang out with it. Like my wife and his wife, like small country, let's hang out. So we got together at Starbucks a few times, and real nice guy. Totally good vibe with him. And he was working on his stuff. I was doing, my info marketing stuff at the time, but I noticed he was doing Shopify. He had just started doing drop shipping. And at the time, in like a 6 or 7 day period, maybe like a 9-day period, he had done like $500,000 in sales. Okay. Like crazy, crazy, crazy numbers. And I looked and I was like, he's not sending any emails. So I don't know jack shit. I suck at buying ads. I don't know jack shit about e-commerce at the time, but I'm good at emails. So I wrote 3 emails for him, a cart abandon sequence, literally like in 10 minutes. Whipped it up, put it in his Shopify store, forgot about it. This was like August. 6 months later, probably about December, he reaches out and he says, remember those emails that you wrote for me? I was like, oh, yeah. He sends me a video with a screenshot of $300,000 in sales. It was a little bit under like two. I'm looking at it here, $299,175.67 from 3 emails in 6 months.
Dude, he must have been fired up.
So I was like, fuck, man, where's my commission? Like he didn't give me shit. Yeah. So I was like, fuck, man. I think he went off and bought a Lamborghini with it. God bless him. So that was awesome.
Sounds like a new drop shipper.
Right. So, but then he was like, hey, can I start sending you students? Like I'm teaching drop shipping. Can I have like students? And I was like, maybe there's something here, And I had a email tracking software that I was working with at the time. And I was just sinking tons of money into it. It wasn't going anywhere. Like I could see no end in sight for the development on it in terms of money being poured into it. And
typical development.
I wasn't seeing the sales flying in that I wanted. So I made a decision at that point, like you have to make an executive decision, I was like $75,000 or $80,000 in development into the software at this point, but it wasn't going the way I wanted. Or I see this like freight train starting to take off, and I see this opportunity. And I literally just made a quick pivot. I started the agency. I grabbed my partner that I'm partnered with now. And because I knew he was really good at Cloudville and all that stuff. And I said, I'm starting an agency. I want you to partner with, I want you to work with me. And that's how it started. And it just took off.
Like that's awesome. So looking at last year, how many, because you sound like a guy who knows his numbers. How many clients do you currently manage?
Under 20. I know that for sure. And we're going to get lower just because I think we've really changed our pricing model. I think when I started the last couple of years, we've just been doing a flat retainer. And then, we did the numbers for 2020. We crunched all the numbers and stuff, and we ended up the year with 11.9 million in email revenue generated for clients, which is great. Wow. And even though we had a great year, I think we almost doubled from the previous year, which is great. I still felt like we left way too much money on the table. Really, like in my heart, like I really feel like we left a fuck ton of money on the table. And so just talking to a bunch of people, really just talking to friends in the industry that have different kinds of agencies and really, asking them their opinions and seeing how they're doing things. And it really I did a lot of soul searching the last probably 2 months, because Q4, we pretty much don't do any customer acquisition, so we can focus on, the holidays.
I'm sure you're busy enough Q4 and e-com that finding customers.
But I did a lot of soul searching at that point to really see what's the solution here, right? Like what's the win-win solution so that I win better and then the client wins. I don't want to do something at the sacrifice of my client, right? Like that's not good. That's not long-term and it's not sustainable. So just really focusing on working on a model that gives you more upside for your potential, right? And so even though we did good, I think we're probably at 16 clients right now. Nice. I would prefer to be at half, but have a more intimate relationship with them. So I think moving forward, that's kind of what we've been looking at. Because I don't want to be a factory where, we're having to constantly bring in 5 clients a month, and that's the business model, right?
Yeah,
I don't want to do that.
How do you break up with clients?
Yeah, good question.
Yeah,
break up with them. It's not you, it's me.
Yeah, fair.
We can't do this for you anymore. I'm sorry.
Sounds like you're a pro in this space as well, the breakup space. Dating
Right?
and breakup.
There's so many parallels, man. It's crazy. Great, but you know what's funny though? Like there is a lot of parallels. I noticed because I'm still friends with a lot of the guys that I did business with in the dating space. We're all friends on Facebook. Almost all of them are doing exceptional in their other businesses and that are not dating related. And
I can see that.
I feel like just because we spend so much time working on ourselves, like your mindset, your inner game, like your confidence levels, it just translates across the board.
Totally.
Yeah. I would agree with that, because you just like, to pick up women, you just have to be a better person than who you are. You can't be boring, quiet, like low energy. You got to amp all that stuff up. You got to know how to talk to people.
You got to be interesting. You have to be interesting.
Yeah.
You have to be interested in people.
Yeah.
And it really, you always think it's about the magic line that you're going to say, but it's never, it never ends up being about that. It's about the person that you end up becoming.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's,
That's cool, man. A little motivation for the gents and the ladies out there, I'm sure.
And the ladies.
Dating.
Ladies.
Even playing field these days.
Yep.
Even what?
100%.
Even playing field these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't discriminate. We love everybody.
That's right. So going back to email, so 8 figures in email last year. What were some of the big takeaways you guys learned? Because I'm sure there's some golden nuggets in there that like you were even surprised with.
The biggest one, it's going to surprise you. It's not even email.
SMS?
SMS.
Damn.
SMS was really big revelation for us in 2020. I think I was just talking to a new client today, and it was telling them that we have a client in their vertical that tried SMS 3 years ago when we started with a different technology, and they just couldn't get it to work. We tried so many different things, and we just could not get ROI positive for them. But now they're crushing it on SMS this past year with Attentive. Wow. And there's a few things. I think number one, the technology has gotten much better in the last 3 years. Even just the last 3 years, the SMS platform technology has gotten better. And then number two, the buyers, people's mindset, even in just 3 years, it is crazy. But people are more apt to do that stuff on the phone now.
You know what's really funny, man? I remember when years ago affiliate networks didn't want mobile traffic. Like they'd give you a worse payout, everything like that. Now the majority of traffic, and Gabe will attest to this, like when you're running hard home insurance, refi, most of the traffic's mobile, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just
like
so
90%.
interesting how the trends, eventually it starts off with shit people don't like, and then it becomes the mainstream.
Yeah. And like even now, like when we design emails and everything, it's all mobile first, because that's where most people are opening their emails. And so like, that's why the emails that we do are so different from what 80% of the people are doing. Like people are still using all these long text emails and stuff. And that shit doesn't work on mobile anymore. Like nobody wants to scroll 10 times or, even at all. I just want to open that email, see what the fuck it is, and decide yes, no, or maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so everything we do is with that in mind, because you have to know where your audience is at, and where you have to meet people where they're at.
Yeah.
Right now, that's where they're at is this. So we got to meet them here.
Interesting. That's awesome. What would you say as far as tips for approaching SMS? Like, would you recommend someone builds them into their actual sequences? Because one thing we've had success with before is having like an email and SMS combo on, like, say, an abandonment card or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what's cool with Cloudville, for example, is they have SMS built in. And so one of the things you can do is, like, if somebody doesn't open an abandoned cart email, you can have a split, and then it'll say like, send them SMS message instead next.
That's awesome.
Right. And so what you're really able to do is meet people where they're at. If they're not opening emails, they're probably going to open the SMS. Maybe they're not opening the SMS, but they'll open the emails. And so you have to have like omni-channel marketing at this point. You have to be like across everything, just because people's attention is scattered and fragmented at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
Like people are always like, oh, email doesn't work as good, or this, that. It's not that it doesn't work as good anymore. It's just that you have to look at where people are at now. Back 10 years ago, there wasn't Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, all that,
Messenger.
YouTube. There was like, what was there maybe 10, 15 years ago? Maybe MySpace. That was the one place that people were. And if they wanted to communicate,
there wasn't even ads on there, was there?
Nothing. There was nothing. If you wanted to communicate, you went to a forum, or you're emailed, or like ICQ or that kind of shit, right? Like Instant Chat or AOL. Right. Like people's attention is fragmented. They're on so many different platforms now. And so you just have to meet people where they're at. Right. And so SMS, Messenger, email, all that stuff.
Can Cloudville actually track who opens an SMS?
Yep. If you use their SMS system. But one of the cool things that we use with Cloudville a lot is they call it exploratory send. And a lot of people don't even know they have the feature, but it basically will send, it's almost like a little mining. It's like mining for open rates and clicks and sales. And so it's sending out emails every hour and tracking to see when you're getting the most opens, clicks, and sales. And then it'll tell you this is the best time of day to email based on the data.
Dude, that's smart. I love that.
And so what it really allows you to do is obviously send your emails at the time when they are most likely to produce the most revenue, clicks, and opens.
That's awesome.
Right. So that's another real big thing.
I love it when like technology companies actually like invest in their technology to make things better for the people using it. Like theoretically, they always should be, but that's just not always the case. Like how many ESPs have stayed stagnant for years now?
One shopping
Most
cart.
of them. Yeah.
One shopping cart.
Most of them probably, but that's cool that Cloudville's done that. So I imagine you're pretty much an advocate of Cloudville then.
Super big advocate. I mean, for us, it makes life super easy. It's probably the only platform that allows you to track all of your email revenue. And I have this problem all the time with store owners because they're using like MailChimp or stuff like that. And they don't have a fucking clue how much money they're doing through email, which is a huge problem. Like, when I hear this, I literally hear Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, like screaming, you got to know your numbers. Like, and I want to like scream at them. Like, how the fuck do you not know your numbers, man? Like you're doing like $300,000 a month and you have no fucking clue how much you're doing through email. Like, dude,
scary.
That's a problem, man. Yeah. So it tracks everything to the penny, and it really allows you to know what's working, what's not working.
Yeah, which is exactly what you need to optimize for.
Yeah, I mean, you can't optimize just off of open rates and clicks, right? Like, it doesn't work.
What about as far as like SMS delivery? I know there's short codes, which are like the 5-digit codes, and there's the long codes. What do you guys?
We use a software called Attentive. That's primarily the tool that we use. And what it allows us to do is
it integrates?
It integrates with Shopify beautifully. And it basically, it's one of the few platforms that has the automation side of the SMS. So for example, if somebody abandons the cart, you can send them abandoned cart SMS. If they browse abandon, like if they view a product and leave, you can send them like a retargeting SMS. Like, hey,
that's so cool.
You just saw this, these sneakers. You still grab them before they're sold out.
Yeah. So basically, if someone comes to your e-commerce store, they look at a page and they're like someone you have information on, it will identify that user and it'll send an SMS to that user based on exactly what they were looking at.
Correct.
That's so cool. How do you find those perform? Like, really is it worth? Yeah. So it's worth someone building a campaign for those.
Hugely, huge. I think in some cases you can even equal the email numbers on SMS.
Wow.
Granted, I think the only limitation is really that people are just starting to use SMS. So the list size is still small compared to their email list.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So for example, you might have the brand, it might be doing, let's say 100,000 a month in revenue, not a lot, but not, a good start. You might have, let's say 50 or 100,000 emails, but maybe you just started SMS last year and you only have like 8,000 or 10,000 email or SMS. So the scale is just going to be naturally smaller just because of the, 8,000 SMS versus 100,000, or 50,000 list.
Yeah.
But the potential's still there for it to grow.
That's awesome. SMS is a little bit more expensive to send, right?
Yeah, a little bit more. But I mean, it tracks everything as well on Attentive, so you can see how much money you make, and they should all be profit centers for you. None of these email platforms or SMS platforms should be an expense.
Yeah.
None of the agencies should be an expense. All of them should be producing ROI for you.
Agreed. We actually, Gabe helped me a lot in the beginning with email because he has a better background. And we always had this like thing we said internally, the biggest cost in email was not sending the email.
Not sending. I was just going to say, like, the only reason why it said you're not making money with it is you're not sending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can always make money.
I don't know, man. Those blocks of IPs were pretty expensive the way we were burning them.
Yeah. Different time, different place.
Yeah.
Going back, so I think SMS is cool, and we haven't really had much discussion on it. What would you kind of recommend as far as like how many times should someone SMS a user? Like, I imagine SMSing every user 3 times a day is probably going to cause you a problem.
Yeah.
And then also, what kind of material? Is it short? Is it info based? Is it
it's
send
very
to a landing page or what?
Very, very short. You're talking like 1 sentence, maybe 2 sentences, if that, with a link, maybe 1 emoji. Not always an emoji because you don't want to like burn it out, but it's very, very short. Just like you're communicating with your friends, right? You have like 1 sentence to be super crystal clear in your communication. So it's important that you write like clearly and speak clearly, and you communicate clearly. That's super important. But you don't, there's no real like hard and fast rule, like don't send this and send this much. It's really, you have to find the right cadence for the brand. Every brand is different. Some people just don't care about the brand, and they're just internet marketing guy, and they just want to make as much money as possible, and they just turn and burn. Great. That's a different model than somebody that has, like, let's say a clothing brand that's in Macy's or department stores, right? That really is on TV and they care about their brand, right?
Totally.
They don't want to come off scammy or spammy, so they'll do it less frequent.
Gotcha.
Right? And so
when you say less frequent, so let's put some numbers to that. Would that be once a week or once every 2 weeks?
Maybe every couple of weeks, once a month.
Yeah.
In terms of like a broadcast. And it really just depends on the owner. Some owners that I've seen are just very, very conservative with that kind of stuff, and they're just like, oh, that's spammy to me, so I don't want to do that to the brand. And that's how they are. Others are more reasonable and say, hey, let's look at the data and let's try it and see if we start seeing like backlash on it, then we'll taper back. There's no, it just depends on the person if you're an agency who you're working with, and it depends really on the brand.
Yeah. I like what you said there, like start, how many people are saying stop, whatever it is, just watching the actual data and, using that to help drive decisions.
You have to have a pulse on what's going on. You can't just like do it and forget about it. You got to really give a shit for the client or yourself, and really like look at the numbers and pay attention and, listen to what people are telling you. Right.
Yeah.
And really make those changes accordingly and, dial things in accordingly.
Makes sense. So let's talk about like, you get hired by an e-com store, they bring you on. Where do you kind of start with them? Like when you start looking at how to build out their email and SMS, what does that kind of look like? A fancy water bottle.
Sorry. I know, right? My glass water bottle, because glass is important. You can't drink from plastic,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
That's how it keeps his youthful, handsome, good looks.
Right. I hear my wife screaming at me, drink more water, drink more water. So, so what we do typically, there's 2 scenarios, right? Like stores doing no email, in which case you have like a clean slate. Other case, they're already doing email, but need help. We always start with an audit, right? Like I think that's the most important thing, is to really see what the lay of the land is. And then from there, you really just, build out the game plan. You work with the client and build out the game plan as far as like what we're going to do, right? Once you guys are on the same page and you have the game plan, ready, then it's time to execute, right? So you have the strategy part and then you have the execution side. And that's, you give the plan, and that's where, having systems comes into place, and having team and, all that stuff comes into place. We have a great systems, great team. We take that, delegate everything to the team, and everybody gets to work.
Nice. What about as far as like, because I want to give something like specific that users can kind of like hold on to and utilize from this, which obviously there has been already, but from an email perspective or just an overall approaching your email and SMS on your e-com store, is there like a kind of a case study you could walk us through where they were at before, some of the shifts you made, and then kind of where it took them?
Yeah, so let me see. I can't obviously give specific brands just
Yeah,
because
we don't need to know.
we have
Sure.
NDAs
Actually,
with all of that. Let
tell
me
them Gabe's
find.
brand.
Yeah, I've got a good case study here. One second, let me find this. I've got a really, really good one that I can walk you guys through here. 1 second. All right. Okay, so this was a store that came to us, I think a little bit more of a general store.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Okay.
Was it
Just
kind of
some-
like, was it like selling like coffee mugs kind of thing, or?
Not coffee mugs, but they were just selling all kinds of stuff. I mean, like
Gotcha.
when I say general store, I mean like anything, any like random thing that you can find on Facebook ads, they probably would have been selling.
So like could have been a flashlight, could have been,
Yep.
you know, a t-shirt with a cat on it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, because back in the beginning of e-commerce, not the beginning of e-commerce, but you know, a few years ago, people were more apt. They were doing more of these general type stores, testing lots of different products, and I mean, I'm sure you saw those kind of things a few years ago.
Dude
we did it.
gadgets. Dude
Yeah,
gadgets. Remember that?
Totally.
Yeah.
That's exactly like the best way to say it.
Yeah.
So this store owner came to us, and his message to me was basically like, you know, our email's not working anymore. People are not buying. So we go into the account, we dig into everything, and I mean it was crazy. They were mailing, I think, 4 times a day at that point to keep the revenue numbers up, because their deliverability was so fucked.
Damn.
So just to give you like some context, and I remember this very vividly, their chart literally was going like this, trending downwards from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like in terms of email.
Wow.
And it happens a lot because people just don't know what they're doing. They don't know best practices. They don't know, like, if you mail the whole list every day or every week and people are not opening that email and you keep emailing them over and over and over, you're fucking yourself each time, right? Like people don't know these things. Nobody tells them this, so they do it.
That's honestly a huge little tip right there, just to make sure you keep your inboxing, is if people don't open your emails, stop emailing them.
You know, I talked to a store owner the other day. He lost his Cloudville account after sending one email. He set up the account, and his first email, well, he's not an internet marketer. He has a business owner. Sent one email, and it was an affiliate offer. Well, you can't send that on Cloudville. That's not the kind of platform for that stuff. Boom, they shut his account down. One email. He was like, what the fuck did I do? Like, I didn't even know what the hell I did. Right.
Yeah.
So
hilarious.
So things like that. So he came to me with that, and look, I know how frustrating it is. Like when your email list stops bringing in money, like that's like red flag, like red alert kind of time. And he asked me, "Do you think you can do better than these numbers?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, I could beat these numbers if I was in a coma." Right. So
that's a good response.
Yeah, I was just like straight up with him. So
that's from like, email 3 in the dating follow-up, Gabe.
Right. Like that was in the chapter 4, fourth tip. So he was barely hitting like 5 figures a month at that point. Wow. And that was a 7-figure store, but their email revenue every month was getting less and less. So they were just mass blasting the entire list. Okay. No segmentation. They were doing the same email to every single person on the list, no matter what, week after week after week. So after months of doing this, their sender reputation was shot. Okay. Their emails and spam, no matter what they would do at that point. And so the revenue was down as well, big time. Their open rates were falling for over a year. They started at 14% in the beginning, which kind of sucks. And they were at like 3 to 5% at this point when they had messaged me. Now, some context, if you're like at 3 to 5% for a few months, Cloudville is going to kick you off the platform because you're hurting their overall deliverability on their shared IPs. So just a little note there. If you're at 3 to 5%, you're like, that's fucking red alert. Like it's like the fourth quarter, 2-minute drill. You need to do something fast.
What kind of CTR do you usually aim for? Just for,
I mean, we're looking for at least 20% open rates, right? Nice. On the clicks, and then on the opens, and then on the click side, like 5% is good, or anything more than that, I think is good. Any 1% is kind of normal, I think, for most people.
Cool.
But what happens is when you get over a certain level of deliverability on these platforms, that they move you to a higher level of deliverability. I'm sure you guys know this, but a lot of people don't realize this.
Yeah, no, that's a great tip to throw out there. We've never brought that up before at all, but that's true.
Yeah, because think about it. Like if
every
you're doing
ESP has different groups of IPs. They put the best.
They don't tell you
the
this.
Best. No.
But think about it. Like if you're like Tyler, your store is doing 35 to 50% open rates every time. My store is doing 1% open, 5% opens. Gabriel, your store is doing 30 to 50% opens. You guys are going to be getting in a much different level than I am in terms of deliverability levels. They don't want to put me in your level because then I'm going to screw you guys and bring your numbers down. So that's kind of the way these email platforms work. So this guy was obviously on the lowest level, and it's not something like an easy fix that you're going to fix in 1 month or 2 months or something like that. And I told him straight up, it's going to take like 6 months or so to get this fixed, right? Because it took months to get this in. It's going to take, months to get it out. So we ran some spam tests on the account, and obviously their emails were all going to spam. So the first thing we did is we did a list cleaning to remove all the dead leads. So he had built the list with what I call the wheel of doom. I call it,
Wheelio.
I know what it is.
Wheelio.
Yeah, Wheelio.
I call it the wheel of doom.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because I've seen this in every single fucking case. And if you're to the guys who make Wheelio, God bless you. If it's doing great for you guys, great. In my case, in every single case, I've seen shit opens, shit clicks, and shit revenue. Mm-hmm. Right? Huge problem. What happens is you're not getting people that are interested in the brand. They're not interested in anything other than spinning that fucking wheel and getting something, winning something.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of fake emails or bad emails, people that don't open your emails. And it really screws you up because you can be sending the best emails in the world, the right emails, but it's just to the audience that doesn't give a fuck and that shouldn't be an audience for you in the first place. And they're never going to open. Doesn't matter what you said. You can send them like a 90% coupon and they probably wouldn't even open. Right?
Yeah.
So that's the first thing is clean the list. But the second thing is really, how is the list coming in? In that case, the wheel has to go. We would switch it to Attentive. Attentive right now is crushing everything else in terms of, list building.
What's their kind of, thing they used for acquiring the email?
They use SMS. It builds SMS lists and email lists on Attentive. Their pop-up, for whatever reason, is just crushing. So like, even if you just used the Attentive pop-up and did nothing else with SMS, you'll make more money because you're going to collect more opt-ins from the traffic that you have, right? So put that aside. So we want to get these people on a different way of collecting email addresses because the wheel sucks, okay? So that's the first thing. Second thing is we noticed that we pulled a list of people that had 0 opens and 0 active time on the site. You can do this with Cloudville. Okay. So
interesting.
We pulled a list, we made a segment. So these are people that never opened an email and have never been to the site in the last 90 days. They had 524,000 subscribers fit that profile.
Wow.
How big was their
They
list
were
in total?
mailing huge, almost double that. Maybe less. Maybe that was probably about half, maybe more. But think about this for a second. They were mailing over 500,000 people that have never opened a fucking email in 90 days.
That's insane. What a waste of
crazy waste. Plus all the money. So 0 opens, not been to the store for 90 days. We don't want to email them. So we segment them out. Next thing we did is we looked at their automated flows. We had to overhaul everything completely, not just the overhaul, but the sequencing of the emails. And then we had to fix the design. We really overhauled all the designs to something much nicer, more image heavy, more graphic intensive, because they were doing very like basic text with a simple logo and stuff like that. But we do everything in Cloudville and we're split testing everything so we can see what the data is showing us. If we're seeing that the data is showing us that these emails are working way better than what they were doing before. So you guys
are constantly optimizing for your clients then too.
Constantly. That's probably about 80% of what we do. And that's what my partner is like the ninja at is optimizing and split testing and doing that. So we noticed that these emails were very copy heavy, which is really good. It's okay for info products, but for e-commerce, it sucks. It's more impulse, quick decision, especially for a general store with those gadgets like we talked about, right? So we also noticed that they had a lot of repetitive flows, kind of like the flow, like two flows were doing the same thing almost. So we don't need that. So they were oversending. So we cleaned out the flows. We reworked, we reworked everything, including the post-purchase flow. So when we started, they were doing site-wide discounts. So once you buy, you get another email that's like, get 20% off the entire store.
Yeah.
So what we started doing is testing that against product specific offers. So instead of like a general discount, we would find what's the next item that they would buy next and do a discount on that specific item. So the email would be all about that one item instead of an entire store.
Yeah.
Right. And so we found typically that these kind of specific offers work better than just a general, type of sale.
Interesting.
So that's the post-purchase flow. Then we moved into the abandoned cart. We started testing delivery times. Like, does a 2-hour delay convert better than a 30-minute delay? Does a 24-hour delay convert better than a 12-hour delay? That type of stuff. Email type and subject lines. So like what type of offer and stuff like that. And we started testing all that stuff and got some bump on that. We moved to the browse abandon sequence and we tested on that again, delivery times, copy length. And we tested like social proof, does social proof work, product reviews.
Nice. What was the answer on that? Did they help increase conversion?
Yes. Everything we did increased, made a huge impact. But again, it took time to, probably about 5 or 6 months to really start seeing the full impact.
Yeah.
Because, they just had worked themselves down into a corner just with the bad emailing, right? Like when you're emailing 500,000 people that never open, like, holy shit.
When you're trying to build that content or that deliverability back up, are you sending content or are you just sending
it's a mix of both.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a mix of both. It really depends on the client. Some clients have no content, and then that's another layer there. If sometimes clients do have content, in which case it makes it so much easier. We put content on the site or on the store, link people to the store, and then people view the content on the store, and then will inevitably buy stuff.
Yeah.
So that works really good. On the win back flow, which is like your last ditch effort, we were testing like blind offers, different subject lines, different product recommendations from the brand. And it worked really good. I mean, we were able to take it up to, I think it was, we did 222K for them in 90 days.
Wow.
Once we made this change. So
they went from that was doing,
5 figures a month.
Yeah, 5 figures a month. It sounded like they were kind of struggling to hit 5 figures.
Yep.
Or they kind of in there to doing a couple $100,000.
Yeah, to 222 in 90 days. It was pretty crazy. It was a great.
I know you charged them, bro, but I'm sure it was worth every penny.
Not enough. Yeah, it wasn't enough.
For you, for them.
Now that I know it's not enough, man.
Yeah,
they're pumped. And they're back on track, and back on track doing what they're doing now, and they brought everything in, internal. They have a pretty big team now, so yeah, man, they're rocking. So that was a good case study to really help them, and yeah, it really shows like how detailed you need to get and how granular.
No doubt. And just the fact, all the work that goes into email, like a lot of people set up something one time, hey, this is going to work. And then, they walk away doing that constant refinement. Yeah. The myth, not the truth. It's just like running ads, like Gabe split tests, like a crap ton of different stuff. So you should on email too. Yeah. That's awesome, dude.
So true. Thanks, guys.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Well, dude, I think we're at the hour mark here.
If
someone's got an e-com store, are you currently taking on clients right now?
Yeah, we always have space. We always have room for good brands.
Nice.
Yeah, just hit me up, and love to see what you guys have cooking.
That's awesome. Really appreciate it, man. Yeah,
I was gonna say Rebecca will get a link or whatever. That way, if someone's interested, they can hit up Dave.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
Dave Maserati.
We'll put it in the description here.
Got to do it with the Tennessee accent, man.
Maserati.
I can't do it. I can't do it. Thanks for everyone listening today. For everyone watching, please do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube. And for everyone listening, please give us a 5-star review on iTunes, Spotify, or Stitcher. 5 stars. Even if you didn't like it, just fucking do it.
5 stars. We F-bombed enough for 5 stars.
Yeah,
we deserve 5 stars for F-bombing.
Yes. All right. Thanks, guys.
Because they'd be like, they swore.
They swore. Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being on, man. We appreciate it. We know the community does too. So thank you, man.
My pleasure, guys. Have a good one.
You too.
You too. Bye.